Hello friends, welcome back to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise. Joining me as always is my good friend Lambo. Lambo, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic. Another week of non-Zerg gameplay here on the Harambo channel.
The way it's supposed to be. This is how God intended it, you know? He could rest on the 7th day because he knew that Zerg would not feature on the Harambo channel as much. If you know, he was like, well, you know what, I might put in some work on the Sunday if they continue with these bad CVCs like they did in week number 2. But then he saw everything was all right and he decided to rest. He looked that far into the future and was like, okay, this is fine. I don't have to interfere anymore. We do have a TVP over here. One of my favorite matchups at the moment with actual build orders, it looks like, and a gateway wall at the ramp. Look at that. Or well, at the ramp, at the Reaper ramp at least. So that's something.
Mm-hmm.
This is starting to show some real potential though. You know what's interesting is that I saw Hero do the Reaper ramp just like this as well. But I think this is actually the incorrect way to do the wall. Because this is a single building wall. You'd much rather wall with the cybercore and have the gateway closer to your main base and closer to your own natural. So if you want to send an adept across the map, or if your opponent is proxy reapering, your unit is 2-3 seconds faster. But it is possible that this Protoss player just copied Hero's positioning. So yes, it is a mistake, but maybe it does give us a clue as to what level this dude is.
I see. So, yeah. Can't believe you're criticizing Hero. Who are you to talk to him? Unbelievable. Where are you in the GSL?
When's the last time you won a GSL?
Well, I'm not the one criticizing Hero.
Yeah, that's true.
Just wait till the YouTube comments find out.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'm okay with to criticize him. Hey, I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying that I don't like this. Oh, never mind. This is not being copied from Hero. This is a non-build order now. Second gateway, way too early again. This is a really common occurrence on the lower levels where people have some money left over and they get a second gateway when there's really no purpose for it. They'll just not use it until their warp gate research finishes, and I freaking hate that type of stuff. The scouting probe did not really see anything. It did see the lack of a natural command center, so that is some type of info. But I'm not quite sure if you know exactly what it's going to be. This is starting to look a little bit like perhaps an armory mine drop from one base, by the way.
Yeah, into the Thor all-in most of the time. But yeah, I mean, the CZ can theoretically also just be built on the high ground, so for now the Protoss can't really know. Especially since he didn't go to Reaper 1 Hellion. He did go for the blind battery though, and he is building a Robo, which is really good against us.
Yeah, this is probably the best case scenario. Generally, a Robo is not very good as it doesn't have any catch at all in it, right? Like you don't have a Phoenix to kill a medevac or to chase a medevac, to kill, you know, a mine drop like that. And you don't really have Blink either to easily defend multiple bases. So with Robo, it can be very tricky to play a normal standard macro game. However, against this particular build order with a very late second command center for the Terran, you can afford to take a little bit of damage. But because you have the robotics facility, you have pretty quick detection. You shouldn't lose probes to the second mine shot. Well, there shouldn't be a second mine shot. And on top of that, it's very easy to chrono out a couple of Immortals as well, which should definitely help against any potential Thor follow-ups. But we'll need to wait and see if this is actually going to be a Thor follow-up. It could just be something completely different as well.
I definitely think it is the Thor follow-up, but he actually delayed the Thor in favor of the Liberator, so he didn't have gas for it. That is uncommon. Other than that, the Terran build order looks pretty good so far. Now he's dropping into the Protoss' main. He already has an Observer. And right after that, if he starts making Immortals, it looks really good for the Protoss already. He also dropped all 3. I really would have liked him to split up the Widow Mines between the bases.
Yeah, that way, even if your mines don't get any real damage in, they still indirectly deal damage because the probes aren't mining in 2 bases at the same time. So that's definitely going to be a hard agree from me. In general, if you go 3 mines, I think just 1 mine per base and then just boosting through and hiding it in a dead spot. So the Protoss always kind of needs to be aware of that medevac. And if they're not aware, then the 3rd mine can come back in and actually deal some damage. This is a very odd execution of the Thor all-in as the initial medevac is going back home. Very often we actually see a second medevac being produced, but that wasn't quite the case here. This still has some real potential though, and the build order is somewhat tight. Oh, I love what the Toss did here as well.
The Terran just finishes the job for him. I mean, there's no way he's getting through there, through the slow zones with the SCVs and the Marines. So that was really good for the Protoss, delaying the attack. The charge, he's really chrono boosting the charge right now. He really wants the charge, even though I'm not sure Zealots are really the unit you want against this. But even just, he delayed this push by so much already. That alone already looks really good for the Protoss, who's now getting a lot of shield batteries in the natural, which is correct. Who's chrono boosting out in Immortal. And yeah, the Immortal Stalker is really what you want against this, right?
Yeah. You know, a cool move that you can do here is while you're kiting back, if you have an Immortal in your natural, is you just run towards the far left side with your Stalkers, and you kind of swoop around this army. Then you start like basically cutting off reinforcements. It's really difficult for Terran to attack into a super battery as long as there's an Immortal there. Ooh, Protoss decides to straight up attack into this. I'm not entirely sure about that. 2 Liberators deal a crap ton of damage. Actually, fun fact, well, fun if you're a Terran, the Liberator is the highest DPS unit in the entire game. So 2 of those at the exact same spot, that's not going to be a great story here for the Stalkers. Bunker does get taken out, but I think 2 more Stalkers and a Zealot do end up falling. And this campaign is looking kind of promising, honestly.
Yeah, I think it would be huge if the Protoss somehow got units outside to stop the Terran from reinforcing. Yeah, and I mean, the Terran can just send his units one by one for now, so yeah, he's getting a War Prism right now, which is good. He's even getting a Templar Archive, so he wants some Archons. He sees that the Terran is not pushing very fast, but now he's engaging. He really wants to take the fight before the bunker goes up, but the 2 Liberators are dishing out so much damage. And yeah, the Protoss is running into troubles here, with the next siege being in range of those batteries and at least the pylon.
It's going Templar Archives and Dark Shrine as well, so he either really badly wants Archons or he isn't quite sure what he wants. I don't really like the way he has been playing this. So far the Terran has not been threatening anything, and the TOS has just been throwing away unit after unit after unit after unit, despite having batteries that could delay the attack here out of the Terran. Now, the Prism goes across the map to counter-attack, not necessarily to take off any reinforcements. What is interesting is that there's a natural behind this. This isn't usually part of the build. You should not have money for this, so that means that the Terran actually macroed incorrectly, otherwise this is impossible, but might actually end up being kind of okay for him. It's a mistake that perhaps pays off, because I do believe he's going to get the Nexus of the Protoss, and if he has 2 orbital commands, that means he can just retreat back home and kind of play from up a base. That should be good.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't get cleaned up too fast. And now the super battery is being used on the Nexus as well. I mean, the Terran lost all of his mobile units here. The only things he has right now is the 4 Marines that can go forward and try to shoot the tank. He needs to move forward the bunker as well, but yeah, the tanks are zoned out. I think the 1 tank could theoretically hit the Nexus if he sees a little bit more forward.
DT's on the other side.
Yeah, huge warp in.
Yeah, the Dark Shrine coming in close. There's actually no units left at all right now. Oh, except for the Lip, I guess. And there's plenty of scans as well. So you could at least delay these DTs from destroying your entire mineral line. It is going to be 11 workers against 38. The Nexus of the Protoss isn't even under siege anymore, as the tanks haven't shot in a while. Once again, we're looking at a pretty wild game here with, well, 10 workers to 38, 86 supplied to 44. This is not looking so great for our Terran anymore.
Yeah, the Protoss, all he needs is really enough anti-air to kill the Liberators on his side of the map. He doesn't have Blink, so it's going to be difficult for him to get under those. And he did now also lose the War Prism, so he can't even get units outside of his base anymore, which I think is really important. I think it's more important than an extra Immortal, probably. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, the Protoss is doing a much better job. I think he now realized that just trying to poke at it doesn't work, so trying to delay for as long as possible and then engaging at the last possible moment is his plan.
Yeah, still has a super battery as well that he can activate to heal his own Nexus. And I wouldn't mind if he sets up this fight properly rather than having the 2 Archons in the back. This could still be dangerous. If all the anti-air ends up going down and the Liberators stay alive, this position is not necessarily going to survive, but these Lips are still going to be quite annoying. A lot of units are still being killed with those Liberators. These 2 Stalkers do end up getting warped in. For 5 Lips versus 2 Stalkers.
Yeah, but there's always a spot that the Liberators are not covering, and that's what the Protoss is banking on. I can't believe he just warped in Zealots instead of Stalkers. That is a huge mistake, especially considering he had the gas for 3 more Stalkers.
He's looking at his armies. I have 10 Zealots, 3 Immortals, 2 DTs. My opponent has 5 Liberators and 9 Marines. I have enough gas for Stalkers. What should be the correct call? So warps in 3 more zealots. This is not quite helping his case here. As it does go for a counterattack, which I really like, obviously. I think this is the correct call. There is a medevac with 7 Marines in it. We do still have some production as well for the Terran. And there are an absolute crap ton of mules available. I don't understand how these lips are dealing damage, but they are. These Stalkers are actually in some trouble. One does get taken out. As the Protoss is moving very slowly and is hardly mining in the main base. Well, I guess there's still plenty of minerals to mine from, actually. It's just not that many workers. 600 minerals a minute. A single Liberator could actually deal with that. I mean,
he can still warp in Stalkers as well, so he could just warp in 2 Stalkers right now in his main base. Instead of pushing out the probe.
So far, he just gave the priority to the Zealots, so I guess this doesn't really seem to be an option, you know? We know he's just evacuating. He's like, no, this base can't be saved anymore, guys. We're out of here. He gets the blink. I'm not quite sure what's happening. I guess now with the Marines, 2 Stalkers wouldn't cut it anymore, as all these probes are going to get taken out. I think this Terran might actually get in a situation where he possibly can't be broken anymore.
What is the Prism doing?
I don't know either.
What? I don't know. Oh, he's losing Stalkers to Liberator. Well, he gets one.
Yeah, I guess that was a snipe.
That was good. That was good. I mean, he
this
can
one
attack
that is
this one
still
as well.
sitting there. I hope he doesn't see me.
Just attack the Liberator, bro.
Yeah.
It's not. I feel like the Protoss is playing way too scared. Like he could have picked off so many units if he's just looking at his army. He can also mine from his main base right now. Like he could record probes here, or I guess just fly them in there with the War Prism. No clue what the War Prism is doing in the bottom left. Like it's not like he has the money for a Nexus.
He's probably wanting to hide assimilators at this point.
Yeah, but you're not gonna win like that. The Terran is full orbitals.
Yeah, but look what he's doing. He's using the DTs to block the orbitals from landing. That's actually kind of a cute move. Oh, blinks in! But loses a Stalker because he misblinked. Landed on the wrong side of the Nexus. So now it's 2 Stalkers. And he's gonna lose 1 more.
Okay, 1 Stalker left as anti-air. He still has 2 DTs that he can morph into an Archon. He can also dodge the scans, honestly. There's not enough DPS. 5 Marines, it's really difficult to clear up the DTs. I wish he was a little bit more active with his ground army. He could also lift the Immortals into the Prism and start just picking off the Marines. Because once those Marines are gone, you can always circumvent the Liberator circles. And there's so much the Protoss can do. He should never lose this game. He can still also just warp in new Stalkers.
Look at the probe light on the map. What is this?
I have no idea.
It's actually a big fight. Immortals moving forward, clearing the mules. Wanting to maybe go here for this orbital command. There's still 1 Stalker alive as these Immortals are falling in the red. Zealot almost dies. Don't forget there's still enough money to warp in 2 Stalkers at this point as well. I'm not quite sure why that isn't happening. Okay, there we go. 2 more Stalkers are being warped in.
Why here though? Like, wouldn't it be better to have them split up? He could have warped them in the main base at any moment in time. I guess this way it's easier, so now he can micro. He can definitely pick off this 1 Liberator. And, I mean, I'm going to repeat myself. There should be no way the Terran is winning this game, but with the way the Protoss has moved his army around, there still is a little bit of hope, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, Liberator is going to set up in a different location. Marines will find 1 Stalker DT. Moving forward, completely forgets to hit the Marines. No!
Into the Liberator circle, I can't believe it. He also blinked forward without the War Prism. Bro, you have 2 blinks. You can blink forward and then blink out with the War Prism. At this point, the only anti-air is 2 DTs that can theoretically turn into an Icon and a 1 HP Stalker. The Mutes can also still repair the Liberators. Oh my god, the Stalker just went down. It went into the Liberator circle. How? It's the only thing he does. How can this happen? I can't. Stop making probes. Warp in a sentry as anti-air. I don't know. Just stop making probes, please.
He could pick up the Immortals to deal with these Marines. I mean, at this point, he could almost just kill the Marines with the probes as well. He has 14 probes still, which all could be mining in the main base. I guess the Liberators are going to set up on the ramp, or I'm not quite sure what they're gonna do. I still don't really see a realistic scenario in which the Terran wins here.
Yeah, I have no idea. The Liberators are always being able to be hit from somewhere, even from the Archon right now.
Yeah.
Because the Terran doesn't set them up properly, like they would need to cover each other, and that's just not the case. Now 1 of the Liberators 1 HP is definitely gonna get hunted down. And he finally realized he can use the War Prism to move his units around. And yeah, with that, I mean, the Terran has nothing left going for him. All of his buildings are here. They're burning. And I mean,
The Terran
I don't
had
know
money.
what
He
the hell
could've
the Terran is doing.
He could have maybe made another Liberator or a Viking. But now the starport's gonna die. He's gonna go towards the corner. What if he kills every single probe and the Protoss warps in another Stalker or something? And then there's not enough money for probes anymore. And there's
Watch
no
him
more
drop
probes
inside
on
the
the map.
circuits.
Oh!
He's doing it. I can't, man. This is crazy.
Oh, one shot, one shot. All we need is one
Oh
shot.
my god, he's going back in.
Just wait.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. Oh, I can't believe it.
That was really close. Actually, there was only money for a sentry at this point. So if he had lost the Archon, I guess you can still always long distance mine in that case, right? You can't... Well, can you? You can
Like
cover
the-
the entire Nexus, I guess. Technically?
I can't believe half of the things I just saw. Like, why the hell did he go away with the Liberators? What was he hoping for? And then he left his main base with the Archons to chase a burning CC, which is completely pointless. Then he lets the Liberators siege back up into his main base, which is the only thing that the Terran has going for him. I honestly, that was nuts. This game.
It was a good game.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Yeah, it was actually a
Highest
good
level
game.
so far.
Yeah, I think so too. We were looking at the Protoss player, by the way. I didn't quite tell you this. And the server is on Europe. So
Okay.
for you, the honor once again here, Lambo. What do we think of this?
I started again. Shouldn't you start this time?
Oh,
Did I-
okay.
did you start last
sure.
time?
Yeah, no, I'll start this time. Well, I think the build orders all looked pretty solid. It's not entirely how I would have done that. It was just the execution that was lacking. So I would say this is about 4.9k.
Is that Grandmaster? Yeah, I think that's honestly a pretty good guess. I think if you execute that build properly as a Terran, I'm going 5,000.
5,000? 5,001?
Yes.
The one is
That's the exact
important.
MMR.
Yeah. Okay, I'm downloading the file as we speak. Oh, the server is EU. The submitter was Heroes Cobblestone with an MMR of 4,980.
Oh,
You were 21 off. Imagine you would have just
21
gone
off.
for 5k. Or wait, did you go 5-1 or
one
5k?
closer.
Yeah.
I went 5001.
Wow.
5,001.
If only. Well, a win for you still, but this isn't going to create a massive gap. I'm still fine. We're still good. That is going to be it for today's episode of Noobs in Disguise, though. Any final words to the fans, Lambo?
Yeah, we're not as bad at guessing players that are a little bit closer to our level, because so far I think we've been doing pretty poorly. So yeah, I'm glad we got a high level episode in, high-ish at least, and yeah, it was a fun one.
Yeah, we're very close. Immediately. Don't forget to hit the like button as well. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Tell us how close your guess was. It's funny. Whenever people put it in the comments, they always were dead on, you know? No one ever was off, and they can't believe how far we were. But whenever I did the Harstem versus the World stuff, I always was top 20 or top 50. Like, I performed well there. Well, if I was reading the comments, there were like 1,200 people that all did better than me and couldn't believe how stupid I was. So I'm looking forward to all of your dead on guesses in the comments as well today. That's it for today, and ciao, ciao.